Welcome back to As I See It. I'm your host, Zach Walega. We will be discussing a pressing issue in our society today, and while it may seem like a simple question, its potential answers hold strong implications. With me today are two of the world's foremost astrologists. We have Kenny on the right and Anna on the left. So the question for today is, how many holes does a straw have? And we'll start with Allie on the left.
So a straw definitely only has one hole.
And what is your explanation for that? Why do you think it's only one hole as opposed to two or more?
Because a hole is just one carved out body with two openings.
So you think it's two openings rather than two holes?
Yes.
Okay.
But wouldn't
and
the
Kenny?
openings be holes? Because if you have a car and it's a two-door car, if you open both doors, now you have two openings.
Yeah,
And now,
openings though.
yes,
You still have
and
one
now they are
car.
holes.
But if you had two holes, there would be two hollow spaces.
So what about something that only has one opening and one hole? Then it's not the same. If you take a cup, it has one opening, but it's also one hole.
Exactly. That's
But
why I'm
the
saying
straw
a straw
has one opening and two holes.
Kenny, let's go back to that, the one cup, one hole. What were to happen if you were to add another hole to the bottom of that cup? You're adding another hole, would it now be two holes?
No, I think a
Yes.
cup isn't a hole. A cup is not a hole. It has a bottom to it, okay?
And the top is the hole,
The top is the opening.
which is the hole.
No, it's not a complete hole.
So it's a half of a hole?
It's not, yes. It's if you were to take the straw and you were to pinch the end of it, it would not do its job. You would render it
Unless
ineffective.
you use it really, really intensely.
No, I mean
then
like
it would still work.
completely just weld it together. It would no longer be a
If
hole.
you weld something of plastic together, it will melt.
Okay, we're not talking about that. We're talking about straws, not weldology.
You brought up welding.
So if we go back to the straw and we say that, so when you drink out of a straw, the liquid, it comes up through obviously the bottom of the straw and then it
Bottom
comes
hole,
into your mouth,
the top
into the
hole.
top. So is that not considered a bottom hole and a top hole?
The bottom
Or is it
and the
just one
top
full
are
hole?
all
It's all
in the
one
same
hole.
hole.
Gotcha.
Yes. You have to have a bottom and a top to make a whole hole. Like,
Yes,
you
you just said hole twice, which would make
No, a
which
whole
would comply
hole.
with the fact that a straw has two
A
holes.
WHOLE, like a whole. It's complete. You
Yes,
wouldn't
there are two of
dig
them.
a hole to China and say, "Oh, I dug two holes to China." No, it's just one.
No,
You're here
but
and
the
you went
hole
here.
you came,
You
the
wouldn't be
hole
like,
you went into is different than the hole you
No,
came out
it's
of.
the same hole because it's serving the exact same purpose.
It's the same tunnel, two different holes.
Right, so
No.
there's an entrance and an exit to
Yes,
the tunnel.
entrance and exit hole.
But wouldn't
Yeah,
it
it's
just be
like
two openings to the tunnel and one hole is the tunnel?
two holes, two openings?
So let's go back to the straw. If we were to cut the straw in half,
Then-
Kenny, how many holes would we have now?
Now you would have two straws.
Yes.
So just like anything,
straws with two holes.
If I learned my basic math
Right.
correctly, thanks to my Mrs. Shupin, my second grade math teacher, 2 times 2 makes 4.
Right.
So there's now 4 holes.
So are you just suggesting like pure chaos upon the world? Like
There's already chaos in the world.
it's one hole, one straw. That's-
2 openings with
No.
1 straw.
Okay, you have to have both components to form a complete whole.
Yes, but there's 2 holes.
You can't. No, when you like fall through a hole, it's just one singular hole.
Yeah,
There
until
are
you hit the
obviously
bottom
two
of the
openings.
hole. But if there is
It's
a
not
second
two
opening,
holes. You're not falling through two holes. Like
you
it's
are
just one
essentially
singular.
falling through 2 holes.
So if you
yes.
were to dig all the way through the middle of the
It's
earth,
like it's like
just
this.
one hole though.
It's like if you think about it like this. Say you fall into a hole. Halfway down the hole, there's a trap door. That hole opens. That's essentially how the straw is all the time.
There's no
The
trap door in a straw.
There's a trap door sometimes into holes that you fall into. So
Okay.
that would make, in that case, technically then there would be 3 holes. But now in the straw, there's no trap door, so there's 2 holes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Theoretically, if there were a trap door, you would now have 2 different holes. there would
Which
be.
there are already within the straw because there's a top hole.
No,
and a
because you're
bottom hole.
arguing if there's a trapdoor, there would be 3 holes.
I wasn't arguing if
All
there is
right.
a trapdoor.
Well, I
was
think
making up a
straws
scenario.
don't have trapdoors. I think both of us, all
I
here
definitely
know
said.
that.
Oh yeah, I never said
Chaos.
they had.
Yeah,
I never
well,
said they had
that's okay.
trapdoors.
So we really haven't come to a decision here about
2
whether a
holes.
straw has 1 hole or 2 holes.
That's okay.
Varying opinions, but maybe we can check out some internet videos, see what social media is thinking, and get a
Poll
more
on
more
Instagram or
more
Twitter.
definitive
would definitely
answer.
get you the right answer. A lot of people
Absolutely.
would tune in.
Well, special thanks to Allie and Kenny for their visit today. Coming up after the break, we'll address another crucial subject, which is a fish underwater really considered wet? That'll be coming up next.
If you eat, it goes in one hole and comes out the other.